Hey y'all, I'm Tiffany with Hilltop Tulips, and I have Althea here with me today.
Hey everyone.
This is my daughter, and we are going to talk to you today about what we have used to homeschool our 6th grader. So you guys stay tuned to see how we use all these goodies. Okay, so just a little background about our homeschool journey. We just started homeschooling this year, so for my daughter's 6th grade year, and my youngest is 3, but we did like a preschool thing with her. I'm going to link that video down below. But she finished out, she's done public school all through elementary school. And then when everything that happened last year happened and we started doing distance learning, it was rough. And she is an excellent student. She doesn't really struggle. Stop. She doesn't really struggle very much. I mean, math kind of gives her a hard time, but she just has to work a little harder. It's nothing that she doesn't get. So to watch her struggle through distance learning was hard. And since I had her and became a mom, I really wanted to homeschool. Our circumstances just didn't allow it. For whatever reason, we weren't able to. But I recently started working from home, which I do work on my company's schedule, so it's not like I can just stop anytime and go help her with a math lesson or something like that. During the day when I'm working, I'm in my room, door closed, like I'm not even here. But on my lunches and breaks, I can help her. And then if there's anything she still doesn't get, then we'll do it after I get off work, like we would be doing homework if she was in public school. But their father, he actually stays home as well, so he is able to help throughout the day when she has questions and things like that. And he is mainly the one that's hands-on with my 3-year-old. So it takes teamwork here. It's not always easy. Sometimes there'll be a day where she doesn't do math because it was hard. She couldn't get it. She watched whatever she watched, her video, did her thing, and wasn't able to get it. And then after work, we had to run and go do something, or I was busy doing something else, and then we just pick up the next day. But I like that freedom with homeschool. So she doesn't get left behind. We don't go on to the next subject or the next topic, and she just doesn't get that one. We stay where we need to be until we've got what we need to get. It's a funny way to say that, but that way she learns everything she's supposed to learn, and it's not like she got a 50 on a test, but next week we're doing the next thing, so that doesn't matter. We make sure that if she gets a 50 on a test, we're going to go back and we rewatch the lesson, we're going to study, we're going to practice, and then we're going to retake that test. And if that gives her extra steps or pushes her out a little bit on her math, that's totally fine, because we just want to make sure that she is learning what she's supposed to be learning. We're not just checking a box or taking a test and plugging in a grade. So
I like that too, because it's not like I am weighed down, and I'm not so stressed. I still know I need to do a good job on the test, but I'm not like breaking down stressed about it. So I like that.
Yeah, she is a stressful test taker. She'll beat herself up all day and just stress and put it off and do other fun subjects, and then take the test. And what did you get on your last one? A 90?
83, I think.
No, I mean, you got a 98 on one or a 93 on one recently.
Oh, the one I just took the other day, yeah, I got a 93 on it.
A 93, and she was like just almost in tears. So I'm trying to reduce that testing anxiety that she has. If you guys have any tips, leave those in the comments below, because when she doesn't do great, then we just learn it again and retest, and it's not a big deal. But she stresses on testing, and going to middle school, I worried about that. I worried about a lot of things with her going to middle school. So it was really important for us to start homeschooling instead of sending her into middle school for a lot of different reasons. And then with the distance learning last year, watching her struggle when she's a really good student, it's just you have to know 1,000 different logins for all these different websites. And I would send her packet of completed work back to school, and I'm not sure if it got graded or, like, I don't know what happened to it, so I don't know what she was learning. It was really hard for us, and I know that the teachers in public schools are amazing. They're doing the very best they can with this weird, rough situation, and I'm not saying anything to take away from that, but as a parent, we have to do what works for our kids. So if you see something's not working, you as a parent are going to do your best to try to change that. And for us, with me working from home, with not wanting to send her back into a public building in that petri dish of children, and then my husband being home as well, everything was lining up, and we just felt like it was the best time to go ahead and start homeschooling. I'm very, very happy with our journey. What is one thing that you would say that you don't like about homeschool? One drawback?
I think mostly not having as many people around me, I think, is a big thing for me.
Yeah, she's very social. I just knew before I even asked, I knew that's what she was going to say, because she's a very social person. And I think homeschooling during everything that's going on in the world right now is really hard, because we're not going to meet up in a group of other homeschool kids. We're not going to have face-to-face interactions like that. So we try. Mm-hmm.
I was really excited for homeschool because one of the big reasons was us going to field trips and aquariums, and then it hit and we can't do that. So it was kind of just like really, really exciting, and then, but when this is all over, we will, of course.
Yeah. And I know some people think you put on a mask and go anyway, or don't wear a mask and go anyway, but I have immunocompromised people in my life, and I have some health issues as well. I don't want to risk our health. So we will do virtual museum tours on our computer. We watch lots of documentaries. There's tons of different resources to get in the education, and then we're trying to get her on Zoom more with her friends from our congregation and things like that, so she still has some social interaction, but it's hard right now, and I understand. And I told her in the very beginning of homeschooling, don't give up on it, don't hate it right now. This isn't how it's going to be forever, and it's been a long time and she's sticking it out great, but this isn't what it's going to be like forever. So what is one of your favorite things about homeschool, or something that you really like?
Well, there's multiple. Can I give like two?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say the first one is being able to be done quicker and not having to go at a group of 24 kids pace, and being able to go at my own. So usually we take, I don't know, like an hour or an hour and a half to do math, but if I can knock it out in 30 minutes, then I can go ahead and move on to science. And I think that's really cool that I can kind of move at my own pace. And if I'm struggling, the second reason, if I'm struggling, I can move on to a different subject and come back. So if I'm struggling with math, I can move on to science and then come back to math. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and then also I feel like there's a lot of stress on young girls about how they dress and how they look. And I remember we were doing some spring cleaning right around the first of this school year, and there were some shoes that she wanted to get rid of, and she was like, no, I want those. And I was like, I thought you didn't like them. And she said, oh, I just didn't want to wear them to school around my friends. So she liked them. She was just worried about being judged. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. So I feel like she has the freedom to be her. She's more relaxed on different, not the test taking level, but
I can wear pajamas to school.
She wears pajamas to school. There's not so much social pressure on her, and I feel like that's got to be a huge relief. It's a relief for me, not watching her go through some of the things that she went through in public school, and she still has friends, but it's not people that you're forced to be around all the time in a classroom setting. It's people that you can choose. So the social aspect of homeschool is one thing that we really like as well. But let's go ahead, and I know you guys want to know what all this stuff is. So we're going to jump right in. I want to show the agenda first. Let me have that. You can use any kind of planner you want, but I actually got her this one. It was kind of expensive on Amazon, but right now I'm just doing this for her. If I had 5 kids, I wouldn't have bought this. This would be way too expensive for that many kids. But since it's just her that I'm doing this with, I was able to splurge a little bit and get her an agenda like they used to give in school. And we do 4 sets of 9-week blocks, and we take off any day that I'm off of work. She'll take the day off of school too, and we might go to the park or go have a picnic, or my parents' backyard, they have like play stuff out there, and we can go and let the girls get outside and play. But we try to do things together on my days off, so I give her those days off of school. We don't celebrate holidays, but we do take breaks around that time, just because it's I like the way the schedule is broke up. You still need breaks. Whether or not we're going to celebrate a holiday, you still need breaks.
And it's a time when a lot of other kids are on breaks, so we can socialize a little bit.
And 2, she will work ahead a little bit. She'll do some extra steps so she can have a Friday off here and there. So she still does the same amount of work, but then she gets a 3-day weekend, and she can control that. I let her do that pretty much anytime she wants. Sometimes she tries to like do all her work in Monday and be like off for the rest of the week, and I'm like, no, we gotta spread it out a little bit. Or maybe on Friday, if she's had a couple Fridays off, we'll watch a documentary, because in our state the homeschool laws are pretty relaxed, so as long as we do something educational, it still counts as a day of school. So sometimes we'll just squeeze something small in there. But for planning her schoolwork, I do the 4 9-week blocks, and then I'll do them 9 weeks at a time up until the end, because at the end she's done with a few things and we're adding in a few extra things, and we just kind of mix it up at the end. But up until recently, I just do the whole 9 weeks right in my mouth, the whole 9 weeks ahead of time. And it's broken down by subjects: math, science, social studies, language arts, and then her extra stuff goes in the bottom down here. And then we have vocabulary lists over here. But this is what we're on this week. So what we use for her core subjects is called Power Homeschool. And you can show them if you want to show them. Go ahead and pull up math or something like that.
We have Spanish, engineering, some different little extracurriculars, but we have the main stuff. Yeah, and I was going to go to all bookwork next year to try to get away from the online, because I want her to have more bookwork. I feel like paper and pencil, something about having that in your hand triggers something different in your brain. I don't want everything to be all on the computer for her, but some things like math is just going to be easier for her on the computer, because I do work, and it's better to have them teach her this. She'll watch a video, do some practice, she can review, she has tests, and they teach her everything on Power Homeschool. Now, if there's something that she doesn't understand through Power Homeschool, I will have her go check out Khan Academy. That's Khan, right? Yeah,
Khan, Khan Academy online. And she'll look up that same subject on there, watch their videos, and if she still doesn't get it, then I'll either help her on my lunch break or after school or after work when I get off work. But
I like Khan Academy a lot because it's a little bit easier. What I mean by that is they will give you the easiest way to do it and not go through a million different steps. They'll just say, okay, you can do this and this, and that's how you're going to get the answer. Whereas in some other programs, they'll say, you can do this, 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 and this, and this, and then add this, and then divide this, and then that's your answer. So it's really frustrating, but Khan Academy is very simple, and it gives you the easiest method that you can do.
That's good. So if you have any kids, even in public school, that are struggling with something in math, have them check out Khan Academy. And that's where I heard about it. She had used it some in public school. So that she actually told me about Khan Academy to help with her math. And if she finished math early, she's not scheduled to finish math early now, but if she were to finish math early, then we would work through Khan Academy, because it's free. We pay for Power Homeschool, but Khan Academy is free. So we would just work through that if she finished her math early. But with Power Homeschool, we use it for her core classes, and the plan that I pay for is $25 a month, and you get 7 courses. And that's a little more. We don't always need 7 courses. But I like having the electives option, and I like letting her try things that maybe I wouldn't know how to teach. Like right now she's doing a coding class. I know nothing about coding. I'm very like on the language arts history side, like that's the way my brain works. So when it comes to math and science, I just don't know these things. I've not even really heard of coding. Like I know it's a thing, but I have no clue what it is. So.
And that's another thing I love about homeschool is that I can tell mom that this is something I want to learn and she can figure out a way to do it. Whereas in regular public school or private school, they would just say, well, that's not really in the what's it called?
Curriculum.
Yeah, that's not really in there for, so we're not going to do that. But we can find a way to make that work, and I think that's really fun because I know my options are open, and if I want to do something, I can try to learn how to do it.
Yeah, and she has an engineering class that she's been doing for a long time, not since the very beginning, but for a while. She's been doing this engineering class like once a week-ish. Our schedule changes a little bit with each week, depending on what other things we have going on. But she has been doing the coding and the engineering, and like I said, that's something I wouldn't be able to teach her. I would have a hard time teaching her. So we're going to keep Power Homeschool. We are going to use this next year, definitely for math, definitely for language arts and science, and then we'll just see about everything else. So for math, we do Power Homeschool, Khan Academy. Oh, and then practice. She struggled a little bit with her times tables, so I got her this. It's just like I got this at Aldi actually, and it lets you practice. You pull the little thing down and it gives you the answer.
So you write your answer here, and then when you're all done to check your answers, you just pull it down.
Yeah, it's a dry erase thing. So you'll write your answer, pull that tab down, and check your answers. And like I said, I grabbed this at Aldi. It was maybe $5. But she'll use this to practice. And then Prodigy, that's the other website, right?
Yes, I love Prodigy. It's very fun.
And it's also free. And it's just regular math fact practice. And there is a course on Power Homeschool that's math fact practice too. So she'll do her steps, because Power Homeschool breaks everything down into steps, and you get a little star for the day, and that's how you know you're done. You don't have to go by that. Power Homeschool is just the curriculum. You are still the teacher, so you can decide how you use it. You can change the amount of steps she does per week. Like, it's up to you. But I have her do her step for the day, however many steps she has to do to get her star. And then she also has 15 minutes of math fact practice. So she can either use the course in Power Homeschool for math facts, or she can use her dry erase pull tab book right here, or she can use Prodigy. So there's different, and we had some flashcards even, some like multiplication flashcards.
I like to use Prodigy sometimes when I'm done for the day and I have some extra time and I just kind of want to, wind down. So instead of playing some computer games that aren't, not usually educational, I can go to Prodigy, and it's as fun as a game, and it's still very educational, so I like Prodigy.
Yeah, Prodigy is kind of like it's a game format, so that's cool. And then she also uses these composition books. We're going to be doing something a little different next year. I will film that video as well, and I will put that in the description below once. I thought you were going to sneeze.
I need to. I'm good.
But once we have that video filmed, I will update the description and put that in the description below once we decide what we're doing for her curriculum next year, what we're going to use for 7th grade. But right now, because this is what she was doing in public school, this is what she was familiar with, we're just taking notes in these. And like this one actually has Spanish in it, so she's got some like the number and then the how you say it in Spanish, and just little notes that I printed her off just from Google. And she has one of these for each subject, so she has that for math too. And I stressed to her taking notes because I never was really taught note taking. I never really did it. And then when I went to college, I didn't know how to be a self-learner. I didn't know how to teach myself. And the professors will just give you the syllabus and be like, see you in class. So I think it's important for her to learn how to teach herself, how to take notes, how to be in control of her education. Obviously, I'm here for her. Obviously, I'm going to teach her, but I'm doing her a disservice by doing everything for her. So letting her find the answers and figure things out, I feel like is really important.
I liked the note taking because it also helped on the stress of tests, because if you know you have a note in your notebook somewhere for it, which at first and still a little bit I struggle taking notes because I'm tired, I just want to go through it. But take notes, because when you're doing a test and you come up to a problem you don't know, or just a question, problems or math, but just a question that you don't know, you look in your notebook and usually you can find a chart if you wrote notes for it. So I really like notes.
And I do give her open notes tests because I feel like in the real world, as an adult, when I do my job at work, I have to use all my resources. So I have databases that I can go to and look things up, and I have like a whole knowledge system that I can go to and look things up. So why would I not give her access to any of that and just have her take a test? In the real world, you need to find the answers to things. You don't always just know them off the top of your head. So taking notes and having open notes tests, I feel like is very important, and I feel like that's a skill that she needs to learn as well. I know I do want her to just know things off the top of her head, and I think there are things she just knows off the top of her head, but also being able to find the answer when you don't know is really important. So I feel like it's a better teaching tool to let her have an open notes test so she can go find the answer and learn how to solve the problem with all her resources.
When you have notes, you can study them and go back and try to remember it off the top of your head.
It's a good resource. So that covers math. Let's see what's next. Science. She did the regular science course through Power Homeschool, and she's finished that. She got her little certificate for that and everything, because there's different steps for each subject. So some of them you might finish up early. So for science, she did just a regular 6th grade science course. And then I have a workbook for her that I was going to use for when she finished early, but she really likes the engineering and she really likes the coding. So I just put those in place of her science. So in her agenda here, it says 30 minutes of either coding or engineering, either one, and I give her the choice. So what have you done so far? Did you do?
I think so far I've done mostly coding, because coding is very interesting and I like coding.
Yeah, that one's the new one too. She's been doing engineering for a while, so I figured she would probably jump into coding.
But maybe next week I can try engineering all week, or I can just switch it up tomorrow.
Yeah, however, as long as she's doing something with science, I let her kind of do what she likes with that. We don't have any, no, we didn't use any workbooks for science. Social studies. Now, social studies is kind of weird for us. We were using the regular 6th grade social studies course through Power Homeschool, and then she came to me and was like, "Mom, they're talking about the burning bush," and I was like, "That's weird," because this is supposed to be secular curriculum as far as I thought. Which means it doesn't throw in any religion. We are Christian, and we do teach the Bible. She has a Bible activity each day and things like that, but I want to control that myself. I want to control how that is taught to her. So it was kind of weird for me to hear her say that was in her social studies curriculum, and I was like, well, let's just switch it up and try something different for social studies. So I took that out of her 7 courses, and I purchased these books. Hold Up the World, Civ. I looked up basically what 6th grade social studies is, and pretty much it's geography and world civilizations. So these are the workbooks that we use, and she alternates. Once a week she'll do geography, and once a week she'll do world civ, and these are things that I have to grade, and if she gets anything wrong, we'll go over them and see like what she was missing, you know. Go ahead.
I think World Civ is very fun to me because I'm very into history, and I think it's cool to see artifacts and stuff like that from so long ago. I think that's so cool to me. So in this book, they have like different pictures and stuff of different places that they talk about in the book, and then they just have, you know, a couple paragraphs. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, and then some questions. So I'm still learning from it, but it's also really fun, and I think that's a big part of homeschool is learning and still having fun.
And then if there's anything that she's really interested in, she can take extra time and deep dive and look more into that and research that a little more. But those we do twice a week. And then like this week for social studies, we're looking at women in the Bible, like Bible history, because it is also Women's History Month this month. So I thought that was a good thing. We've done a bunch of different other things throughout. Usually it's stuff that I printed. Last week we did the Camp of Israel. So we printed it off of jw.org. They have activities, social studies related activities, anything that is like geography, things like that we will use for social studies. And then the Israelites leave Egypt worksheet. So we do work in the Bible in different subjects in different places. But I just wanted to do that from my point of view. And then we watched the Kiss the Ground documentary as part of her social studies. That one was really fun. And I'll email her links. She has her own email that's just for like schoolwork. And I'll put in like social studies and then the date. So then whenever she goes to her agenda to do her schoolwork, it has a little E beside of it. She'll know that she has something in her email that either links to an article she needs to read or a video she needs to watch or something like that. So that's where we have the little E's. Then we have, let's see, World Civ, and then Women Study in the Bible, or Women in the Bible, and then she's off, no social studies on Friday. Some Fridays we have it, some Fridays we don't, because I wanted her to have an opportunity to do more deep dive, and if she's seen any other, because she's only got 2 Women in the Bible activities for this week, and there's a whole long list of them. So if there's any others that she was interested in, she can take Friday and look into those. I mean, she can do it anytime, but I left that day open for that.
That's what I was gonna say.
What?
That you give me time to look more into things.
Yeah. We did she would have finished science a week early, but we took a week off to research volcanoes, and she did a volcano project. For each 9 weeks she has a project that she has to do and then present to us. So her volcano project was awesome. She did
really fun.
She had fun doing it, and she did like a slideshow giving us facts about volcanoes, and then she built her own volcano, and we laid down stuff. It was really rainy outside, so we laid down stuff in the living room so she could erupt her little volcano in the living room. So that was fun. What were you gonna say?
We used Canva. We used Canva to make our slideshows, and then we just press present in the corner. And I like Canva because you can use GIFs and you can use fun graphics and you can change the font and backgrounds, and it's really fun to do apart from knowing that you're learning something else and teaching somebody else something. So
she's really into graphics, graphic design, arts, things like that. So she's way better on Canva than I am, and I use it for my YouTube channel, my Instagram, everything, and she's still...
Where you're watching right here, she uses that.
I do, for my thumbnails and everything, but sometimes I'll be like, Althea, make me a graphic, because she's so much better at it than me. But that's another thing that we just incorporate. That was with science, but she was able to use Canva and do her presentation and things like that. So in school I learned PowerPoint. She prefers Canva, so she can use the one that she prefers. Then language arts, she had a regular language arts course through Power Homeschool. She finished that already. We printed her certificate for that, and then I was actually an English major in college, so I love English. So, and she does too. It's her best subject, I believe, the thing that she does the best in. So, we do a lot with that. We do different things. So let me just show you. I give her a word list. I had to use a word generator because
she gave me the same words several times.
I gave her the same words a couple times, and I said, good, you should get a really good grade on this test then, right? But I'll give her 5 words a week, and she makes flashcards, and on Monday she will write the word down and do the definition, and then on Tuesday she writes a synonym for each one. On Wednesday she writes sentences using the words, and then on Thursday she studies, and on Friday she has a vocab test. And we just do that. I got the hiccups now. Oh goodness. And we just do that, like, she'll give me the cards and I'll just read the word and she'll spell it and tell me the definition. We don't have to write anything down and, like, grade it and log it and all that stuff. And then at the end of the 9 weeks, she has a master test where I will type all the words on the side and then she writes the definition to each one. What were you going to say?
On Monday, I will read out the word and read out the definition just to make sure, because at one point on Monday, I had gotten the definition and the word, and then we were doing the test and Mom was like, "What are you reading? What is that?"
I was like, that's not the definition to that. Where did you find that? And that brings me to the dictionary, the old school paper dictionary. She hates it. I don't know why. But she was getting weird definitions online, and I wanted her to learn how to use a paper dictionary where you flip through with your little fingers
for hours
and find the word, and then showed her how to read the dictionary, how it gives a pronunciation, and it gives several different, you can close it now. We showed them Power Homeschool. But I wanted her to know how to use the old school paper dictionary. I know we can Google, but I wanted her to use that. And then also, we say them out loud on Monday. She'll say them out loud to me and tell me the definition. I cannot remember the word.
Amicable.
One of her vocabulary words was amicable. And I was doing her test, and I said amicable, and she was like, "Do you mean amicable?" And I was like, "I do not mean amicable." What are you talking about? So I realized, yes, she's doing them and I'm checking them, but we have to say them out loud to each other to make sure that we're getting that pronunciation down pat, because
it was bad.
That was funny. Then also, because she has finished in her Power Homeschool, she's finished her course, we were able to throw in this reading comprehension book, because she's an excellent reader, she has excellent vocabulary, but I want to make sure it's sinking in, because I am a good test taker, but that doesn't necessarily mean I know the subject. So it's important to me to make sure she's comprehending. So it's just a little short paragraph, and then it's got the questions over here, and it's a different format. Like that other one was like a match thing. This one's a fill in the blank. This one's multiple choice and some fill in the blanks. So we use this now. She does one lesson each day, one story with the questions.
With some books, we have to tear out the answer key in the back because they include the answer key, so that's something to remember.
Yeah, sneaky over here.
I don't use it.
Journaling. She's going to start journaling on her own, just doing whatever topic she wants to write about. But we've also used this Black Women in History journal prompts. We've used lots of different types of journal prompts, and she just puts them in a composition notebook like this. But with this one, it talks about a different Black women in history, and like Althea Gibson, Misty Copeland, Madam C.J. Walker. We know you know who that is. And it just asks a little, like a short question, and then she'll expand and do a journal entry based on that. Also, we wanted to get back to this because she had been doing a lot of writing in her language arts curriculum in Power Homeschool, so I wasn't having her do a journal on top of that. I feel like that kind of would have been overkill. She doesn't have to do all of this at one time. We just kind of plug things in here and there as we need them.
Which is good to save some stuff, because you're using so many different resources, you'll get done with some stuff different times.
Yeah, because this is only 26 journal prompts, and we've been using it since the beginning of the year. So we've mixed it in here and there as necessary, as we wanted to use it. And then I'll find some journal prompts online. And then we've also, for journaling, we've used our Young People Ask book. This can be accessed on jw.org, but we have our paper copy here, and it just talks about different topics that young people might want to know. And it is definitely, I wouldn't just give her this book and be like, go at it, because some things need to be in context. We need to discuss it together. Let's see, what's happening to my body? How can I deal with loneliness? How can I do better at school? How can I control my emotions? Should I get baptized? how can I become God's friend, things like that. And it's just a couple pages of information, and it does cite scripture in the Bible, and she can look those up in her Bible. And then there's some little questions at the end. Let me see if I can find some. Like, there's a little "what do you think" block, and it's got 3 little questions. So we've used this as journaling tools too, and I really like that.
This is very nice because it's like, if mom decides that, like, she can see that I'm struggling with some real life problem, she can go in and try and find something to work with that in here, and it just helps a lot. And I like that, you know, because teachers, not that they don't care about kids' feelings, but they don't understand like a parent would. So,
and they've got 30 kids to keep up with. I've only got one. So I can tailor it to her. And then also, this gives her time. It gives her a different perspective than what I'm telling her. Because if we've talked about the importance of picking good friends and staying away from bad association, she's probably tired of hearing me talk about it. So reading it in the book, getting our examples from the Bible scriptures, and then being able to journal about it, it's just another way for her to think about these topics without me just giving her a lecture, pretty much, which it can sound like sometimes, and I understand that.
And this has actual kids' point of views. So, like, it'll say the topic, and then sometimes it'll give an actual kid or teen who has went through that and who is, you know, came out on the other side, and it says what they think.
Mm-hmm. So that's been a really useful tool for us. And then there's some activities, like I said, on jw.org, there was one about controlling negative emotions, or just controlling your emotions. And I printed out the worksheets, and it even gave her like a spot to put her favorite scriptures that help when she's feeling anger or sadness or this or that. And I told her she can take that up on her wall and look at it when she needs to reference it. So we've definitely benefited from using those. And then writing, I wanted to go into journalism. I love writing. I love the process. I love the pre-writing, all of it. I'm a writing nerd, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that. So we talked about yeah, I accept it. We talked about the different types of writing, and we'll do things like I don't know where your pre-writing is for this one, but like she wrote a story about the fair.
Can I talk about this? I really like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was really fun because at first, so we did like a couple weeks maybe of this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and we'll get back to it now that you're not doing it in Power Homeschool. We can incorporate that back in.
The first thing we did was a little kind of just simple listing out the topics you want to talk about. So we pick one thing. I did the 5 senses because that was the thing.
The type of writing you were doing. What is that, expository?
Yes. So I did the 5 senses of the fair, and I wrote 3 things that I want to talk about. So I did rides, food, and animals, and then the concluding sentence, which was why you should go to the fair, and then the topic, the 5 senses of the fair, of course.
And we use this little sandwich chart to show her how it's broke down. And there's all different kinds of diagrams that I use, and we'll dive into that more with her. The web charts and the flow charts and things like that we'll work on. But this one worked for this type of writing. Worked best, I felt like, for this type of writing. So
then I did a draft, I guess you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote what... Sometimes I say, well, I thought I was going to write, because Mom tells me, you know, the grammar I missed or some of the punctuation after she reads my draft. And then I go back and write it again on Google Docs, so that way it looks a little bit more professional. I go back and write it again on Google Docs, and I'll send it to her through email or share it with her on Google Docs or something like that, and she'll go through and read it, and if there's anything else, she'll just tell me directly.
And then we print the final draft right there. And we keep it all together so she can see her process. So she went from this to her final draft. And I like her being able to see the whole process. And we'll do more of this just as it fits into our into our curriculum.
Sometimes there's more steps in between than there was with this, but I was pretty good with my drafts, so it's a little bit.
Yeah, her drafts are always really good. I am meticulous. I pick out
the exact thing.
Everything. And then there's some places where I said, let's find a better way to say this because it sounds confusing. So it's just teaching her to be a better writer in general and not just the technical aspect, because I know that's not how she talks. She speaks better than that. So let's write better than that. So she gets really individualized attention, and I think that's a good
especially if
thing.
I'm trying to be fancy and I use fancy words, and Mom's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Let's make this a little simpler. Let's revise that. It's important to me that she also learns cursive. She really enjoys cursive. She wants to write in cursive. She used to write in print, and then when she was little, she would write in print and then make little lines connect and everything because she wanted to write in cursive. So we just grabbed her this little cursive handwriting workbook, and it has, isn't this the one with motivational quotes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it has a quote from a famous somebody in history or something like that, and you write that quote.
And this one, this day, it was Confucius. It says, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. And it breaks each little part down, and then she writes the whole thing over here. And in the beginning, it did have the letters, but she pretty much knows all that. So we just went on to writing sentences for her. And then we'll eventually start doing her rough drafts in cursive when it gets a little better. Because I have to read the rough drafts. But we're going to practice on that. I left this guy out because she's really into the coding and the engineering and everything. I got her this little snap circuits thing where she can build little electronic projects. This is also something that it's not something I would have picked for her, but she expressed that interest, so I was able to get it for her, and she loves using this and building her things with it.
I think when you have to break up your budget between so many kids, it's harder to get what kids really want. So before, we would just get a worksheet on this, if we even got that.
Or y'all would, I think you had these in public school, but there was only a handful.
Yeah.
So y'all would have to do them in groups, or you'd only be able to do them sporadically as each class was able to get them. But this one's hers. It's all hers.
So I can just take this in my room and create some little, well, still not as dangerous, but it's still, electronic. So I'd sit at the table and do it. But yeah.
And there's bigger kits, and now that I know that she really enjoys it, I'm definitely on the lookout for some good sales or something like that for the bigger kits as well. Yeah, you can make a flying saucer, and you can make an alarm.
Yes, with this, it comes with, I don't want to swish everything
Don't dump
around.
it.
Yeah, it comes with a little pamphlet that shows you different ways to make stuff.
Okay, and then I left these till last because they're so awkward for her. But it is.
There's diagrams. Why?
There's diagrams. But these are New York Times bestseller, The Care and Keeping of You, the body book for girls.
It sounds so innocent.
You enjoyed it. It's topics that we need to talk about, and we have been very open with her. Graphic warning here, I guess. We've talked about periods. We've talked about reproduction. We've talked about all these things, but if there's something that she hasn't felt comfortable asking me a question about, or asking anybody a question about, we might cover it in this book, and that'll give us an excuse to talk about it.
Excuse.
Yeah.
The way she's talking.
But I can bring things to her as, I didn't bring this up. She didn't bring this up. The book brought this up. So let's talk about it. It kind of takes some of the pressure off of both of us to cover everything. And there's a volume 1 and then a volume 2 for older girls that covers some other subjects. And this, again, isn't something I would just hand to her and be like, here, you can read this. This is something that we are going to go through together. We're going to talk about the topics together. It talks about your period. It talks about skincare, staying safe in the sun, nutrition. There's a lot of them that say body talk, fitness, your feelings, all different kinds of things, and that's in number 1.
A lot like this one, it has
Mhm.
accounts from actual girls.
And this one talks about like buying a bra, hormones, Q&A, keeping clean, getting enough sleep, infections, moods, body image.
Here's the thing though, if you don't make it weird, it's not weird.
Right.
Just learn about it. You're learning. You're not like, hey, I want to talk about this. Let's talk about this.
Let's
Just
talk
learn
about periods.
You know,
No.
we're learning.
And there's some things that she understands, so we're not going to make it weird and sit down like knee to knee, staring in each other's eyeballs and be like, tell me what you think about a period. Like, you don't have to do all that. But this is a good way to breach some of those topics that might be a little uncomfortable. And maybe she had a question, but she didn't want to just come to me and ask. So
which
now
stops kids from looking it up, which can be weird.
Yes, I don't need her finding the information herself from friends or public resources or Facebook. I don't know, she's not on Facebook, but I want to teach her the correct terms for things, the correct process for things. I don't want her to have to go looking for the answers. So even though this isn't the most comfortable thing to chat about, it's definitely not equations or snap circuits or anything or definitions. It's still something that she really needs to learn, and we are going to cover it. And then what else do we have? We do Spanish. She does that through Power Homeschool, but we're looking for a different option for that. If you guys have anything that you like, please drop that in the comments below. For teaching a foreign language, we are going to continue to do Spanish. She's expressed some interest. What other language were you asking me about? German?
Yes, I wanted to learn German or Russian. I like to be prepared. So I want to be able to go somewhere and know how to talk to the person in front of me. So I want to learn as many languages as I can.
And I'll expose her to all of them. If she decides that she wants to switch away from Spanish and start learning just German, we can do that. I'm fine with that. I do want her learning a foreign language, but which one? I'm open to her picking that with her interest.
One of the languages I wanted to learn was Dutch, was because I wanted to read Anne Frank's diary in her language, because I felt that was a little bit more respectful. So I wanted to read her diary in her language. So that's the reason I wanted to learn Dutch.
I like that. So we are doing the foreign language. Let me know down below what you guys use for foreign language, because we're looking around. We're exploring our options. Probably won't do that with Power Homeschool next year. We'll finish out what we're doing now. Music, I had a really hard time teaching her music because I don't know music. And we were trying to decide, is she going to learn an instrument? I was having her learn about the different composers because that's just what I thought would be most interesting just to start out. And then I realized Power Homeschool has an introduction to music course. I don't know why. I think her course load was full. I think she was full with her 7 courses. So maybe that's why I just hadn't looked before. But we only have 5 weeks of school left, 5 weeks of formal school. Then we'll have to do some kind of standardized test for her end of year. And then we'll technically be done. But we do learn year round. We'll watch documentaries. We'll deep dive into things she's interested in. If she still wants to work on engineering, she can still do her engineering course. If she still wants to use some other course to learn German or Dutch or whatever language she wants to learn, she can do that year round. Like, we don't stop learning because our formal 4 sets of 9 weeks are up. That's just the minimum requirements, basically. And then, so we added in that music course, and we can keep doing that next year too. If we drop something else, since we'll be dropping Spanish, we'll have room for a music course. And then she does actually an AP arts course on Power Homeschool, and she's doing great in it. She's an artist. My husband's an artist. He actually went to school for graphic design and digital film, I believe. So they're very, very artistically inclined, and it's not something that I feel completely qualified to teach because I'm not. So I like having a different resource for her for that. And they'll do, my husband and my daughter will do art lessons and talk about different things. So she has someone physical to bounce off of with art. But I like having the technical class through Power Homeschool. Go ahead.
For a while, I was doing really good with art and I was rapidly learning, and then I kind of neglected it because another reason we homeschooled, I was going to school and being tired, so I came home, maybe took a nap, woke up to eat dinner and do my chores, and then went back to bed. And there was not much time.
So you mean you neglected it when you were in public school?
Yes. Now that we do homeschool, now there's room for me to do that kind of thing and keep learning and keep getting better. Because I realized I was a little rusty when I tried to pick up that pencil again.
Yeah, so we want to definitely keep those skills toned. And we have some art textbooks that I purchased. We just don't really use them on a regular basis. I think if she has any questions about anything or wants to learn anything more about different techniques and wants to see it in a physical book, we have those textbooks on our homeschool shelf. And then she has a huge crate full of art supplies that are at her disposal. She's recently got into charcoal, and she's doing amazing. She loves charcoal, and it's beautiful, the stuff that she makes.
Can I please go just get one picture?
Yes.
Okay.
And while she's grabbing that, I'm going to talk to you guys about her Bible study. We have a meeting on Wednesday night and a meeting on Sunday night. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, we prepare for the Wednesday night meeting. And then on Thursday and Friday, we prepare for our Sunday meeting. And it's like a paragraph question and answer kind of thing. We read a certain amount of, we have a set reading out of the Bible that we do. But Monday, we do personal study. And she can do that throughout the week anytime. But for our Monday personal study, I might find something in our Young People Ask book and go over with her. I might find a worksheet, or there might be something that she had a question about during our family worship time that we can talk about more during her personal study. Alright, so here's one of her charcoal drawings that she wanted to show you guys.
It's just a nose and lips, but I've been working on noses,
facial features.
Yeah, facial features. Just because I've been working on highlighting, and there's a lot of highlighting and stuff to do in there, and I just recently found charcoal, and I think other than paint, which is my main medium, charcoal is a really, really good one too. So.
And we do have a she did a video, a painting tutorial that I'm going to link below in the description. And then also she has her own Facebook page where she sells her artwork. So you can go check her out there too. I will drop that in the description below. If I leave anything out of the description, because I've said so many things that I'm going to link, if I leave anything out, put it in the comments and I'll add it into the description. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns or just want to chat at all about homeschool in general, go ahead and drop those comments down below. And thank you so much for spending so much time with us today. Thank you for liking and sharing. Our page is growing so fast.
I am so grateful. And I used to watch YouTube videos and be like, oh my goodness, just get to the point. But I am so grateful because I have always wanted to have a YouTube channel, and I'm so thankful for you guys.
When I told her we were gonna start a YouTube, she was like, "Really? What?" And I was like, "I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna try it." Mainly because I just want to document. We're doing so many things. So much is going on with our family right now, and I want to document everything. So thank you guys for taking the journey with us. We really appreciate it. And you guys have a great day.
Bye.